Last episode, we picked up a 2013 Ford Focus with another bad dual clutch and realized this one, the culprit was a really bad leak and figured it was coming from the input shaft seal. When we started tearing it down, we had a few speed bumps, but finally got it separated and transmission fluid started dripping out. We finally dropped it and it was a disaster inside like we had expected and realized the original seals were not updated to the new brown ones. Then it was hours of cleaning all the transmission fluid off. Here is currently what the situation is going on with my car in the backyard. This is what happens when you don't have a garage, guys. You can actually see like it is made contact with the car. I don't know the extent of the damage, but it's pretty nasty out here. And well, I don't even want to see what this looks like when it stops. We ended up losing power, but thankfully one of our neighbors let us use his electricity. So we got back to work. This is the old seal. The black ones, you know, they are the old ones that they came out with revised ones that didn't leak like these did. So yeah, it makes sense that we had a leak from the seal and it was a black one, the old one. So we're gonna go ahead and we see how I had to drill to get a hole in there to then be able to pull it out with my seal puller, and then it came out pretty easily. We went ahead and we took our vacuum and we cleaned out all of the debris from when we drilled out the seal, get that all clean there, and then we vacuumed out on the inner shaft here so we could go ahead and get this seal out. So we have our toolkit that just arrived. I'm going to install the outer input shaft seal and then install the input guide seal. So we're going to go ahead and remove the old ones before we put the new ones in. So I'll be honest, this really is not the fun part here. I've never done this before, taking out this inner seal, but I did get the hang of it eventually. You gotta be able to tighten that down and grip onto the seal inside so that you can eventually pull it out. In the first few tries, I was not able to get a grip on it. As you can see, that's why I keep trying. So you keep trying and trying, and eventually I did have some success. So if you're doing this too, just try not to let yourself get frustrated and keep on going. So first, I'm going to take the shaft protector, put that right over like that. Then we're going to slide this right over like that. All right. And then we're going to take this, put it like that. And then we're going to take our rubber mallet and just hit it down so we hear a tone change. And there's our new seal. The first step to putting the clutch kit in is putting in the new sleeve along with the 3 screws provided in the kit. Next goes both of the shift forks. And then the springs. And then the 2 bolts at the back of each fork. Then we put a little bit of grease on the 2 tips of each of the forks. Not a lot here, just a little bit. We don't want it to collect any of the dust or debris inside the transmission. Then Brittany is putting some transmission fluid lightly in between the 2 splines on the shaft. Then goes in the throwout bearing. And don't worry when putting this in, it can only go in one way. You'll feel it fall all the way down. Then the first washer to go on is the big one, and then follow it is a smaller one. And then it's finally time to drop that clutch in. You'll feel the clutch fall into place as you get in the right spot. And this time we had to keep moving it till it finally did fall in. And then it was time to put our clutch plate back on so we could fully install this clutch and get our snap ring on. And then we began to tighten it and put pressure on it. Until we realized we had a problem. But as you can see, it has actually started separating in one of the arms here.
They did a really bad weld job. If you look, they tack welded a piece that takes on high pressure. Now it doesn't, see how it sits uncrooked?
So we're gonna take this off. We're gonna use socket part that goes over still, and then we're gonna take a hammer and we're gonna pound it in, and it should have the same effect as the plate does with the pressure putting on it. Oh, yeah, it went right in. Surprisingly, it didn't take much to get this clutch seated down far enough to get our circlip right on it. But I was struggling for some reason getting that circlip on, so Brittany took over. Then the hub went on, followed by another circlip. Okay, now it's time to unlock these forks, or unlock the clutches. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do 12 counterclockwise rotations, 7. And let's just speed that up to save some time. So we are all set with those, but now we gotta go ahead and clean off these actuators before we even think about sticking these in.
Let me see how grody, the grodiest one. So that's nasty.
And here it is cleaned. That thing was looking pretty bad before.
Yeah, she's pretty.
So now we're gonna go ahead. You wanna put it in over here?
Yeah.
This goes actually like.
Oh, it doesn't go the same direction as the other one?
Nope.
Oh, that would have confused the shit out of me.
Sit flush. Yeah, you're fine. Just gotta wiggle it in a little bit.
Oh, I see. Gotta get the spindles to line up. There we go.
And after Brittany got the actuator in, it was time to just put in the new hardware. And then we were finally ready to get the engine hoist in place to finally pull the transmission up. And to note, just watch out for the sensor on the back of the transmission as well as any other wiring along the way. And then the part I hate most about this job is putting those flywheel bolts back in. Don't drop them, seriously. So, I'm not very happy with myself. I actually just end up dropping my socket right into the starter access when I was doing those flywheel bolts. I got all 6 flywheel bolts on and hoping I didn't drop those in, and I didn't. And then I went to go put my 13mm socket on the wrench and it dropped right in. So, sad day. I'm gonna have to pull it back apart, which I'm really dreading. So, I guess here we go. Guys, look. There's our socket right there. Right there. This is unbelievable. So after I separated the transmission again, Brittany helped me put it right back together. Okay, and now it is time to go ahead and release our engine hoist. The transmission is now bolted into the mount up here and the mount down there. So it should be good just sitting here on its own. Pull our hook out. And we are done with our engine crane and our transmission is now in. And right here is my favorite part, is rolling this away. Our next step in getting this transmission back together is pulling that shifter cable back through and then bolting it back to its mount with the 2 bolts. Go ahead and put this guy back in. Next we have our TCM connector. And our top TCM connector is in. And next is the ground wire. Goes right up there. And make sure you put this wire back and it's tightened down good. Otherwise, your car will not start. All right, and then we're gonna put our throttle body just like this. And then tighten it down with the 4 bolts. Then the passenger axle went back in. And we do have our wheel on. Let's tighten it, but we are getting very close to having this car back on the road. But before we wrapped up the car, we needed a few parts from pull apart, like the starter grommet and the battery tray. On the way back, we figured we'd kill two birds with one stone and look at another Ford Focus with the same, yes, you guessed it, bad dual clutch in the transmission. And well, yeah, it needed work. It did look pretty promising. Unfortunately, we realized that there was one big error. He revealed to us that the car did not have actual mileage stated on the title, and when buying a car to flip, that's a big no-no. So we finally headed back to wrap our car up. All right, now we gotta get the starter back in place. And after some finagling, we do have our starter back in. We're gonna have to put the bolts in and then put the shield on and put the other screws on, the other bolts on. All right, guys, I did forget the grommet that we went to pull apart for. I think it goes in this, yep. And this grommet only goes in one way. We have now inserted the grommet, so now we're gonna go ahead and put this starter back in. Go ahead and put in those screws. And then I just had to tighten those two bolts up. Next is our transmission fluid, which we are using our Motorcraft dual clutch transmission fluid. We go ahead and just pour it right on in. And we have to put about 1.7 quarts in. And then it's time for driver axle. Here is our new axle that we're gonna have to pound in. So we have to go ahead and screw this. A little bit of grease. Let's go ahead and stick this on in. And just pound it in. All right, and we got our battery box in. We're just gonna snug these down. This is that battery box that we got from Pull Apart. Okay, and then we have now gone ahead and we just wiped off these terminals because all the battery acid was pretty nasty. So this battery is now ready to go in. And the negative terminal goes first. That makes installing the battery a lot easier. Okay, then we push this back right in there. Okay, we have this part of the battery tray back on. So we can go ahead and we can start putting in the air box. And this guy goes on like that. This guy goes here. And we got this guy that goes right into here. That goes there. And then the last step is to put the bracket right over. And there is our car all put together. You can see the air box is now in, the battery's in. All you gotta do is hook the positive terminal up and it'll be good there. But we're in good shape. Now we just gotta do the transmission clutch relearn with our computer after we plug it in, and hopefully all is good, and then we can go take this thing for a test drive. I do have the key. We're gonna go give this a start, and hopefully it starts up. Our other wheel is now on. Now we are really close. And it's time to lower it. We are about to do our adaptation on our clutch. Okay, so we are now in our forescan. We are resetting the DTCs. Those are set. So let's go ahead. All right, you can see we have no DTCs here. We're gonna go ahead and do our adaptive clutch relearn now. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the details of going more in depth about forescan and the clutch procedure since I've done in the other videos. So if you want to learn more, definitely check those out. And thankfully, our clutch relearn was successful. We're up and running. We are going to go take it for a ride. We got plenty of gas. So let's go see how this thing drives. It's sounding good, but you know, I'm not going to say anything too fast. It did pass the clutch test, but let's just see how it goes. All right, guys, and we are cruising. We'll show you how it's shifting. Good shift there. Guys, she's driving good. She is driving good. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I'm glad we got this one wrapped up. It's our third clutch job in the books. It was a little more work than we were anticipating with that transmission leak, but you know what? Hopefully have it sold by next episode and have another one picked up. So we'll see you then.